Good morning and welcome to the Idea Morning Digest right here on Idea Television. It's a fresh new day and a perfect time to reflect on how far we've come as a continent and where we are headed, especially in the areas of science, technology, and entrepreneurship that are shaping Africa's today, not just tomorrow. And I'm truly glad to have you, my wonderful viewers, with us here this morning. And we've got an exciting lineup today, thought-provoking conversations and insights. And of course, I'm not alone. I'm joined by my two beautiful co-hosts, Chidera.
It feels good to be here. I'm okay with Joyce Chidera.
And
I'm Jacobs Deborah.
okay, this is Deborah, and Chidera here. Of course, we'd love you to be part of these conversations. You can join us online at Idea Television across all our social media platforms, or share your thoughts with us and questions via our email at ideatelevisionlimited@gmail.com. There's plenty ahead, including today's top stories. But first, we're going on a quick break. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, this is the Idea Morning Digest. Now let's dive into the top stories making news today across Nigeria and the African continent. Traditional healers push for regulation and professional training in northeast Nigeria. Traditional medicine practitioners from across Nigeria's northeast converged in Gombe State yesterday, calling for sweeping reforms to improve security, credibility, and standardization within the sector. The meeting, led by the National Association of Nigerian Traditional Medicine Practitioners, brought together representatives from all 6 states in the region to address the growing need for regulation and accountability in the practice. The association announced new measures to professionalize the sector, including a clampdown on fake certificates and unauthorized practitioners. All official documents must now be issued directly from the National Secretariat to curb impersonation and safeguard public trust. In a move to strengthen the knowledge base of traditional healers, practitioners were urged to pursue formal education and certifications with the College of Traditional Medicine and Acupuncture in Damaturu, named as a recommended institution. The association also applauded the Gombe State government's efforts in supporting indigenous health development through the revitalized Herbal Reservation Farm. The gathering closed with a renewed call for unity, education, and structured engagement with Nigeria's broader healthcare system, marking a new phase in securing traditional medicine's role in the country's evolving landscape. So now let's talk about this alarming report from the National Post from Damaturu from Gombe State. This story here is not just about traditional medicine, it's not just about traditional practitioners pushing for regulation and for professional training. It may not dominate, let's say, mainstream news cycles, but it touches on something that's deeply rooted in our African heritage. Let's throw back to history a little bit. We've always relied on traditional medicine. We've always, when I say traditional medicine, for people to understand, I mean herbal medicine, roots, ginger, some of these herbs and whatnot. We've always relied on it for so long. But then there's a tension here. This brings to mind the tension between traditionalism and modernism. It's like there's a tussle. But meanwhile, we know that somehow or not somehow, most of these modern medicine still are gotten from traditional medicine. But what these traditional medicine practitioners are saying is that they want a reform. they want to be respected. They want people to. I remember when I went out on the street for a vox pop, and I was asking people about traditional medicine or herbal medicine, and a lot of people opted for um, um, orthodox medicine, sorry, versus traditional medicine, and a lot of people opted for orthodox medicine. That's because they believe in it. When I asked, they were like, they believe in it. So there's this trust because it is standardized, it is tested, it is trusted. So that is the same thing these traditional healers are calling for. They want regularization. They want it to be standardized. They want it to be put on books for good. They don't just want to practice from the street or from their backyards. They want it to be on paper. They want it to be tested and trusted. They want people to believe in it. And what I see here is that if these measures are taken into consideration, and we have a lot of traditional medicines and those, I really think Nigeria will there will be less reliance or dependence on import of foreign drugs, because it's high time we look at these things. It's high time we see how we can, buy Nigeria to grow Nigeria. For long now, we have been advocating for the buy Nigeria to grow Nigeria thing. I don't know what you make of this news.
Okay, so it's a very, very good move for actually traditional practitioners. If there's anything we should look at, is the safety of our Nigerian citizens.
True.
Now, the use of these drugs, the reason why some people might want to use the other synthetic drugs over this is because of research. Now,
True.
there have been a good research to it. I think there was a saying that was going out that most of the things that we Nigerians, the drugs, the herbal medicine that we mix, most of the time becomes harmful to us because we don't know what we're mixing. But because it's just going to suppress, the truth about it is that if you take anything that is natural, it increases and helps the body, than synthetic. So, but it also have its backlash. So I feel like the government should also look into not just training them, but making it in a way that technology can also help.
Beautiful, true.
It's still natural. Not that they should add anything. It should still be natural, but it should be done on proper research. It should be that this particular medicine mixed with this particular herb mixed with this particular herb can solve malaria, and it's research proven. Not just because I went into the bush and it healed me today, it should heal me tomorrow. You don't
and
even
what
know,
may work for you may not work
for another person. So if we want to actually regularize this particular thing to come to play in Nigeria and be firm, you must go into research. You must know which particular drugs work, which particular herbal drugs, like I said, without adding synthetic use. We should still maintain the fact that it's traditional medicine, but with proper research. What do you think can happen? What do you think can happen if you mix this social thing and this other thing together? It's more better that way.
Yeah, I really think this reform, if it is, it's a movement to me. If it is pursued, if it is pushed, if it is manifested and actualized, at the end of the day, it's going to, elevate traditional medicine for good beyond all those
beyond Africa,
exactly. And people, we want to
buy into it.
We are growing Nigeria. We are even talking about economic development here for the nation as a whole. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Chidera.
Well, this is a commendable move. I mean, regulating traditional medicine have indigenous knowledge. Okay,
Exactly.
so it's a very good one. It's a very good one. But then, at the process of training, the traditional people that wants to get involved in these traditional medicines and then issuing them certificates, there should also be a law. Some people can just dive into, I drank this medicine, I mixed dogoyaro tree and mango leaf, and then that was how my malaria cured, right? Okay, so I think it is not, let's not just expose it to any kind of person, because you don't tell them that, okay, this herbs is made of mango leaf and dogoyaro tree, right? So I think there should be a sector for educating those people.
True.
Payment should be made to it so that their interest will be fully involved in all of this.
Yeah.
So I think also collaborating with wider health sector is a step, is the right direction.
True.
Yeah.
True. We have the NNMD, and we have had their DG here. That's in the person of Professor Emeji here before, and he talked about the plans about natural medicine and standardizing it. So what we are saying here is that regulation is not a threat. We are not like saying it's a threat, but it's an opportunity to preserve. It's an opportunity to improve at the end of the day, and also protect our people and protect what is ours at the end of the day. So I think that brings us to the next news we have for today. Registrar raises alarm over national health security threats. The National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria has raised fresh concerns about the country's worsening medical brain drain, revealing that over 5,000 resident doctors have abandoned their specialist training exams in pursuit of overseas job opportunities. Speaking at a health summit which began yesterday, the college's registrar, Professor Temitope Eshon, disclosed that although more than 8,500 doctors are currently registered in the college's system, only about 3,000 are participating in the required examinations. This pattern points to a growing trend where doctors exit the country within 1 to 2 years of starting residency training. Experts at the summit warned that the mass departure of medical trainees poses a serious threat to national health security, potentially leaving Nigeria without enough specialists shortly. The registrar noted that despite improvements in examination process, doctors continue to exit due to poor working and training conditions across hospitals, lack of adequate infrastructure, and limited government investment in healthcare. Reinforcing the concern, the Nigerian Medical Association said the country faces a looming collapse in specialist health delivery. The NMA criticized government retention strategies as poorly executed and described health sector funding as heavily skewed towards salaries, with minimal allocation for equipment and infrastructure. Participants at the summit also called for legislation to curb government-sponsored medical tourism and proposed the creation of a sovereign health fund to support world-class care locally and attract foreign patients. Discussions concluded with calls for better remuneration, improved training environments, and policies to engage the aspiring professionals, stressing the need for urgent reforms to reverse the ongoing brain drain. This is not a news story. This has been going on for a while now. We've been complaining about the brain drain, especially in the health sector. We were talking on the Idea Morning Digest the other day, myself and Chinonso, where we were complaining about, I was telling her how you meet 1 in 10 medical graduates, and you ask them, what's next after school? And what you hear is, Japa or Japa. So the Japa syndrome is cutting deep into our society, is cutting deep into our brain, is cutting deep into our development as a country. And we hold this to, we shift this blame back to the systemic collapse. There's no structure in the healthcare system. There's no structure in the country. There's no pillar that is holding some of these things, because we cannot continue to complain about one thing for a long time. If you carry on for too long, then the problem it needs urgent attention. Let's put it into perspective. According to the Nigerian Medical Association, we have less than, as we read, 8,000 doctors that are registered to write this exam. But as it appears now, it's only 3,000 that are around to write this exam, meaning that and they are not even hiding it these days. So everybody is telling you that I'm going for greener pastures. Sometimes you don't want to blame them, even if we want to say no. We have to stay back in our country and make our country. I mean, if people over there did not stay and make their country what it is, we would not want to go there. So, but let's check our population in Nigeria. We have like over 200 million people in Nigeria. And World Health Organization said that one doctor should be for 600 people. I mean, every 600 persons cannot fall ill at the same time. So one doctor for 600 people, at least just two. But in Nigeria now, we have less than 2,500 doctors on ground. So tell me, if one person for 600 people, what will be left for the remaining people in the remaining Nigerians? So I think when we consider all of these medical professionals are actively seeking to immigrate, and you know, we begin to see the scale of the crisis, that it is bigger than us rather. And like I said earlier, what Professor Temito Pearson is warning is timely. So we have to look at it now. We have to, it's not a new story, like I said before. This story has been unfolding, but with slow motion. And I do not want us to get to where we can no longer, you know, handle it any longer. So let's just make what's, let's tackle this situation. Let's deal with complaints that are coming from workplaces. Let's trainings like you talk about. We have to go back to training these people. We have to see that healthcare practitioners are not old. I mean, these people are the key to our health.
Yes.
They are the key to our health, whether we like it or not. And if we begin to owe them for too long, you leave them with no choice than to leave the country. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
You know, before these people would take the decision of trying to leave the country, like you said, after you graduate and then you're supposed to go into the field, you just decide that Najakba, or you want to travel out of the country. There must be a reason why they are taking that decision. They must have seen other doctors, other surgeons, other people in medical under medical profession, and then
making it over there.
Yes, making it over there. And then down here in Nigeria, it is nothing to write home about. You see somebody study medicine for how many years, only for you to graduate, and then your salary is nothing to write home about. And even at that, you try to put in your best to look after the patients and all of that. At the end of the month, they are owing you. It is discouraging. So they feel like traveling out is the best thing. So I think this issue can actually be resolved if the government will look into it and then empower these medical practitioners. How can they do this? By improving their working condition, and then improving their working condition, increasing their salary, ensuring that their salaries are not being delayed. Okay, policy reforms, establishments of a good health investment fund.
Very
all
important.
Of this put together can fix the country and then change the mindsets of those medical practitioners planning to travel out.
Exactly. Investment is one sure way when we talk about solutions. Investment is one sure way. Take, for instance, India, what they turned their healthcare system into. I mean, their healthcare sector is one of the best in the world.
Yes.
I mean, we run to there to seek medical care, and we know they too have encountered healthcare crisis, but investment in infrastructure, investment in medical education, just create that incentive for people in the diaspora, people that are going to want to come back to you, because you have built that system that can capacitate everybody. You have built that system that can carry everybody. So I think we should do better, so our doctors will not want to go out. We'll keep them at home. Deborah,
the truth is,
you've been
beyond the medical field. I feel like this also spreads to every other field or study. Now the way the country is going, everybody's looking for a way to make money, means of feeding. And if the thing that brings you joy, the thing that you're doing that brings you joy, you go into it and it doesn't bring any feedback, it's very, very draining, like you said. And beyond money, we must look into infrastructure, like you said. We must improve our infrastructure, because even if I'm getting more money from this particular person and the infrastructure is stressing me or draining me, and another person is giving me a lesser money but it's still something I can work with, and infrastructure is good, I would go with the other one, because it can also help improve people who want to bring out new things, people who want to to establish new ideas about medicine, they won't be able to. I think that's the major reason why we are lacking behind is infrastructure problems. There are doctors in medical field that they think about so many ways to make medicine better for patients, and there's no infrastructure.
Proper funding, no nothing.
I think that's the major reason why people are even running from the country. Not just the money, because I see beyond money. There are some people that do this not because of money, but because of the love they have for that particular profession. Now, the reason why they would run is because there's no way my idea can actually...
Nothing is fueling your...
And if you look at all these revolved country, like the US and the China country, like you said, if you look at it, you see that most Nigerians are doctors there.
True.
And they are paving way in that country. What happens? Because if it's about studying, we can go there and study and come back here and establish what we study.
But where's the enabling environment we have to come back to?
Where is the infrastructure? There, here, that will give us the morale to go out and study, going out to study is actually a good idea. But when we now come back with that knowledge, we want to improve our country, we want to make sure that our country speaks louder in action. There's no infrastructure for that. That's why we get brain drained and decide to actually stay outside when we get the opportunity.
Deborah, you have laid a very powerful point, because restoring public's faith in healthcare system is a very, very, very big issue, and that's what you have just stated. We have to restore our faith in our healthcare system. Not just the faith of these healthcare practitioners, but even the faith of we as citizens in the country who rely on these people to take care of our health. I think it's very, very important. And all these things takes simple policy reforms, just like you've said. They may not be simple, but we know that these things needs to be put in place, and we need to sustain them. Yeah, so we're still talking about health, so we have a whole lot of news about health today, and we're moving to the next and the last story for today. The largest human imaging study reaches 100,000 scans, boosts early disease detection. The world's largest human imaging project has reached a major milestone after successfully scanning its 100,000th volunteer. The UK-based study, which began over a decade ago, is helping scientists gain unprecedented insight into how the human body changes with age. Starting yesterday, researchers confirmed that detailed MRI, X-ray and ultrasound scans of brains, hearts and other vital organs have now been completed for 100,000 participants across 4 centers in England. The project, which operates daily for up to 13 hours, provides anonymized data to research teams globally, supporting early detection and treatment of common illnesses, including heart disease, cancer, and dementia. Volunteers commit to 5-hour scan sessions, but do not receive personal results unless a serious health concern was spotted. Personal data remains confidential and unpublished. Scientists say the scale and quality of these imaging data are set to transform medical research and long-term healthcare planning. So we're still talking about healthcare, I mean, from our local here now to the diaspora. I mean, we may look at this and say, this is not something from Africa, this is from the UK, but it cuts across all border, whether we like it or not, because this is something we are doing for health. This is something we are doing for, and what they say about health, health is wealth. This is something we are doing for the future. This is something we are doing for life. And beautiful to see in Idea Morning, in Idea Television, we always advocate for innovation. And it's beautiful to see another innovation that borders on the life of the people, the sustenance of people, of our lives and everything that concerns us. And now, this is a different kind of milestone that I hope stays, and I hope we can tap into as Nigerians. Yes, because like we've talked about infrastructure, these are some of the things we are talking about. This is the points you laid seriously about infrastructure, about investing in our infrastructure facilities, about funding initiatives, about funding ideas. Because sometimes when you are in an environment where it's not enabling for you, it's not allowing you thrive, you would be confused and your ideas would just be left to waste. And for somebody who has this burning desire to heal the world, to do something, you want to look for a place where you can actualize your potential. So let's leave all the sentiments and all of those things. Let's go back to what this medical innovation is doing. I mean, this is the largest human imaging scan. What it does is that it's going to scan your body, in, out, everything that concerns your body, your skin, your bones, everything, and know what is happening in your body. So that's what this does. So I think prevention, like we always say, is better than cure. So if we see something that is going to prevent diseases before we begin to cure them, is it not it's a beautiful thing. And what even interests me most about the news is that they are going to make it affordable for other countries yes, to buy, so that we can, and if we can afford something like this and we begin to even research more about it and see how we can even enhance it, it will be a beautiful thing for us. I mean, Nigeria needs things like this. We need to look at how we can, turn our healthcare center around. We must begin to collaborate with people, just like you say. We must begin to form partnerships with research centers. We need serious attention in our R&D, our research and development sector. Yeah.
Cynthia, we are gradually walking into a technological world.
Yes.
An age where technology will be the main theme of even our livelihood. And
I always say, they say our future is written in codes.
And it's a good thing. It will be a bad thing if Nigeria is lacking behind. If we're still manually working and other countries have gone ahead of us. So
True.
it's a good thing that other countries will be able to buy into this idea. Nigeria as coming down to our own home, because it's my home. Africa and Nigerians will be able to buy into this idea. It will be a good thing. Another thing about it is how many of us Nigerians would want to go to the hospital when nothing is wrong with us to go and check ourselves. Now we bring it. Let's just imagine that the government actually buys into this idea. It takes the grace of God for also the citizens to actually buy into this idea.
Because sometimes you not even blame people. I think maybe the cost too. How we do things. We have a big problem in Nigeria. We have problem with transparency. We have problem with accountability. Sometimes you even make it affordable for people, but there will be somebody there that will be saying no, it's being paid for. That kind of thing. We want to collect, but yeah,
or they'll put it for important situations.
That kind of thing, or they'll make it available for only the rich. In quotes.
Yes, I understand you. Like I said, it's good. It's a good idea, but it should be another thing for us to actually be able to walk to the hospital. The funny thing is, presently as we speak, there are rich people who actually go to even outside the country, let's say outside the country, they take their cars to mechanic, even without their cars having issue, for maintenance.
True.
To check if that's what maintains the car and increase the lifespan of the car. Now they do that with their body too. Can we also as citizens buy into that idea? Where we go to the hospital, you don't have headache, you don't have malaria, to just go and check your body.
Check your body. Important. Very pertinent question. Chidera, I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that? Yeah.
Well, she has said everything. I think it is just good knowing fully well that Nigeria or Africa as a whole we are full of talents, right? So I think if there is a way that we would adopt this motive, this innovative acts from other countries, I think it will help us and even grow our economic lifespan. That's
true.
Yeah.
Very well put. I think we've done justice to all of these things. It's left for we as a people to do what we need to do, play our role. It's left for the government to play their role. But right about now, we go on a quick break. So when we come back, we are going into the discussion segment proper. Stay with us. Welcome back from that break. This is still the Idea Morning Digest. What I wanted to say why I had that pause was, it's good to be seeing our president again. Thank God for technology. Thank God for the digital landscape. Thank God for, all that technology have
Been able
to do for us so far and is still doing for us. We still get to see his pictures, we still get to see his videos. But before we go straight into what we have for today, because we're going to be talking about our president and his legacy so far, but in the tech space, let's just have a quick recap of the news we brought to you. We brought to you news that traditional healers push for regulation and professional for regulation for professionals.
We also brought to you news on training in the Northeast. Nigerian registrar raises alarm over national health security threats.
We also saw the largest human image study research. 1,000 scan boost early disease detection.
Yes, so those are the news we brought to you. Today we'll be talking about something very timely. We'll be talking about Buhari's legacy, just like I've started saying. We'll be talking about his legacy, particularly in tech and the tech space, the innovation, the regulation, and the future of Nigeria. So but before that, we just have to say this is a new day to just carry, and this is a new day that carries a mix of reflection and review. We want to first of all send our sincere condolences to the family, to the friends, and the entire country, Nigeria, as we mark the final journey of our former President Muhammadu Buhari, who will be laid to rest in his hometown Daura in Katsina State. President Buhari has led the country from 2015 to 2023, and he was a former military ruler who became a democratically elected president. His administration left its imprint across several sectors, but this morning we are zeroing in on one of the most dynamic landscapes, Nigeria's technology ecosystem, from launching Africa's first central bank digital currency to implementing controversial bans that disrupted online livelihoods. Our former President Buhari's years in power were anything but neutral for tech in Nigeria. I'll say that. And that's our focus today, Buhari's tech legacy, the regulations, innovation, and digital future of Nigeria. So we'll be looking at the impact of 7 landmark tech-related policies introduced by the former president and enforced under his watch. Some propelled innovation, others sparked some disruption. We know, we are living testimony to all of those things, and so to speak. But all of them shaped what Nigerian tech looks like today. It's important to say that Nigeria's tech industry, our startups, digital payments, mobile services, crypto, and even social media grew rapidly during Buhari's era. But that part wasn't always linear. The former president approached digital development through a combination of national security, monetary reform, and structural policies. At times, this meant bold innovation, and other times it meant abrupt, restrictions that shocked users and investors alike. So let's go policy by policy and assess them from both ends. What did we gain? What did we lose? And most importantly, what does Nigeria, or where do we rather go from here? So we'll just be looking at some of the key initiatives or projects or things he brought during his time in his regime. We'll talk about the Twitter ban, a whole lot of all of those things. So the former president, like we said earlier on, approached these tech innovations, tech initiatives from different angles. And it was a controversial moment for Nigeria. It was a whole lot for Nigeria. While we applauded some of it, that seemed like a bright idea, or was a bright idea. At some time it lasted or was initiated, but at some point in time again, people began to raise eyebrows and what's happening. why are all of these restrictions and whatnot? Let's start with one of the most talked about digital events in 2021. That's the Twitter ban. After a tweet from the president's Twitter handle that period, the government suspended Twitter operations for 7 months. And on one side, it raised a lot of questions about freedom of speech, especially for we in the media space. Everybody began to say, what is it trying to do? We are in a democratic society. Where, what does democracy say? One of the things is freedom of speech. How about digital rights? And, government are beginning to become overbearing. What is the president doing? Does he know what he is doing? And some other administrations cited national unity and misinformation control on another hand. Some people saw it like, okay, at some point in time, because sometimes I always say, Nigeria Twitter is very rugged. Let me use that word. It's sometimes we'll say Twitter is not the place to be. So sometimes when I go on Twitter and I see what happens there and I see the exchange of comments and whatnot, I'm like, what is happening here? There needs to be regulation. So I'm always one who advocates for there should be some sort of regulation. So at some point I saw that as misinformation control. I saw that as regulation of some of these internet feeds, some of these unnecessary quarrels and banters that go on online. And but another thing was that it got to a point where people begin to question the economic cost of the whole situation, because people use digital tools to sell their product. People use social media to sell their product, to advertise their product, to get new customers. So it's generally a marketing tool for a lot of people. So people began to lose customers. A lot of people began to question his approach. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Okay, so like we were saying in one of the programs last week, we said to every advantage of a thing, you would always see a disadvantage of it. And I think the reason why the president at that point wanted to ban Twitter accounts was because of the disadvantage of it was becoming more than its advantage. Like you said, you go on Twitter and people get mentally provoked because you went on Twitter to go and read what somebody wrote
about
you.
Mentally provoked.
Yes,
truly.
Of recent,
That's true.
I went on Facebook and I made a post of this Nigeria US banding visa and all of that, and I had somebody who did not understand my post came online and started saying another thing, and I didn't even need to respond. Other people, and I just noticed that a fight was lit up on Facebook. Now, this is something that still happens on Twitter. Yes, the fact Twitter helps people sell their products and all of that, but the disadvantage was more in that period. And I think they were also bantering his government in that year.
True.
You go online, you see videos of your president in a cartoon form. You see videos that are very. You be wondering,
making caricature of.
Thank you of his governance and all of that. It's a bad image.
We are painting for
Nigeria, not just our country, but for people who are watching this thing.
Yeah.
Twitter is beyond Nigeria.
Yes.
It's beyond Africa.
Yes.
Other people from other countries will watch this, and imagine a US citizen watching a Nigerian banter his own Nigeria president. It's not a good front to put up. I think that was a major reason why the president, actually one of the reasons why the president wanted to ban that move of Twitter. And if anything is brought, I think we should look at more of the way we can use it than the way we can bring harm to other people. On this use of this technology.
Generally, it's brought two sides of the coin.
Yes, of course.
You just have to play. Everybody choose what they choose to
stand
stand with at that point in time. At one state, it showed resolve in managing digital sovereignty. We just have to own up to our own thing. And on another hand, it's just loss of that, marketing, drive, investor confidence, and all of those. Our livelihoods were disrupted a little. Because some people like to go and chill and relax on Twitter and just, pass away time. But yeah, Chidera, you have something to add to that.
Okay. Like she said, anything that has advantage has a disadvantage. So you can look into what we gained
Mm.
during that Twitter
Mm.
ban in 2021, we saw that it asserted national sovereignty over global platforms, and then forced conversation around data localization
True.
and
True.
platforms regulation. But then, what did we lose?
Mm.
We found out that many youths, especially they they earn more from the internet, right? So by that, at that period, their businesses were disrupted. Nigerian lost billions of naira due to the disruption of digital businesses at that point. So I think what the president did then was to, it's a kind of warning to those that are throwing trolls on the president and every other person involved.
You just said, very true. I think even aside even bringing that individual consciousness, I think it holds a lot for when we talk about digital privacy, digital ethical considerations
Exactly.
when it comes to how we handle social media. But we have to run with time. And another thing it brought was the cryptocurrency ban. Yes, there was a clampdown of cryptocurrency at some point in time. The CBN banned banks from facilitating crypto transactions because there was a point we got to, crypto was kind of institutionalized, or they were hoping it's going to get institutionalized. It's going to become a thing in Nigeria, maybe some form of, it's going to be recognized. But then the move for that was halted by the president because it didn't stop crypto as a whole, but it just it just altered it in that like in that standard form that it should have taken here. In fact, it accelerated underground growth.
Yes.
If we even want to look at the good side, just like you guys have said, there's advantage, there's disadvantage in everything. That underground growth, because it made a lot of people want to, put their heads in crypto and see what's there. But then the downside of it was that crypto became people participated in it kind of illegally.
Yes.
So it facilitated a whole lot of negative things happening and a whole lot of that. So the irony there is that a crackdown meant to suppress crypto ended up boosting its adoption. So at the end of the day, he even made crypto. I think that was the period where crypto became popular. A lot of people, yes, got to know that crypto exists, and everybody wants to see what this thing means, and also find ways. There's something with when somebody will you with power. There's something that comes with challenges sometimes. I want to go a little sentimental. Just excuse me. There's something that comes with when you are willed with power. What challenges brings to you. Sometimes there's some kind of challenges you'll be facing in your life, and you want to, find more. I think that Nigerians are like that. We are very resilient. We want to dig the ground. Even if you bring all the blockages, we will still want to find what is that light at the end of that tunnel. So I think it brought boost, but then it asserted regulatory control too, because if you allow people to just do things, it's going to affect us if at the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay, so I think what the former president did then, I think the idea is viable because, like you said, many people tend to use cryptocurrency illegally. They use it to scam people. Like, you can ask a full grown-up guy, a full grown-up man, what do you do for a living? You say, I do cryptocurrency. They might not be doing that cryptocurrency.
We don't know for sure.
Exactly.
We don't know for sure, rather.
But talking about the illegal aspects, rather. So what he did at that point in time helped to reduce those illegal use of cryptocurrency. And then the good parts, the disadvantage, what we lost then is that this is what's, in fact, some people are fully employed in this cryptocurrency currency stuff.
right now.
As at then,
Yes,
even now.
until now, yes.
Exactly. Those are the ways they get to
Yeah.
feed and all of that. So by that time, the decisions, the laws that the former presidents made then disrupted their income and all of that.
Yeah.
So I
True.
think that is what we'll just.
Let's just move on to the next one. NIN and SIM linkages policy he brought in 2020. The SIM and NIN linkages that came with the national security policy, and it led to the deactivation of millions of unregistered SIMs. I still use my SIM. The first SIM I started using since I started using phone. But there's this SIM I used one time to register. I don't know what I registered with it in, I think in school or so, and then it affected it. I had to now go and find a way to get my SIM, activate my SIM back. So, but however, this effort while it has a noble intent, this particular one, NIN and SIM linkages, because it's had it also had lots of economic implications if we look at it, because so many, not, please do not quote me, but a lot of millions of users, a lot of people use SIM for a whole lot of negative things and some of those things. So I think this helped to build that let's say our credit score, or identity as a people, because we must identify with something. So it helped to identify citizens rather, by and we rely on communication a lot. So I mean, this helps in a whole lot of ways. We can link communication with our identity. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Okay, so for these online people that go about collecting money, I think that was one of another reason why the president put in this the so-called Yahoo. That was another reason why the president implemented this use of name, connecting your name with your SIM. If you notice, people started using, in those days when this was not brought, people started using SIM anyhow. I can just decide to buy an MTN line. Once they allow me borrow, I borrow 20,000 naira card and break my SIM and buy a new one. Do you see? Now, and I can also use my SIM to commit online fraud, and they won't be able to trace it back to me. But with NIN being attached to your SIM, that you can't use your SIM properly for a long period of time without your NIN, it helps identify you. Even if you hide,
it will find you. It will fish you out. Okay, so moving on, he brought during his time, his regime, the Nigerian Startup Act was also enacted, and this brought a positive turning point to the Nigerian the startup sector. It offered tax incentives, it offered loan access, and it brought about a structured tech ecosystem for Nigerians. Until now, we are still enjoying that. We have a whole lot of fintech industry, a whole lot of digital platforms that help us facilitate payments at a go. So I think this also created the institutional support we are crying for. That when we have the potential, but we need something to back it up. I think this back innovation, or this back people that had new ideas that time. But came late in the administration was the time we tell, because we don't know if it's still sustained, because there's something with Nigeria. We always have things on paper, so we always have things on written, but sustenance is another question. Continuity is another question. And another thing, just to run with time, so that everybody will just get to put in mind all of these things he brought, and you go back and think about them. Oh, did this thing, when this thing happened, did it affect me positively or negatively? Did I enjoy this? Another thing was the foreign exchange restrictions in 2015. In the early years of his presidency, that was during the time he just entered, Buhari imposed import restrictions and forex controls, and the goal was to protect the naira. That was the goal, and to encourage local production. That's we are talking about. It has been on the news. It has been on our lips. Grown by Nigeria to grow Nigeria. So I think this foreign exchange restrictions controlled how money comes into the country. It controls production. It controls import and export as a whole. But then it made life difficult for tech startups at that point in time, needing to pay for foreign, services, because we know we do not have a whole lot of things. Like we say, we do not really have an enabling environment for some things in Nigeria. But then, this brought challenges in that aspect. The monthly international card limits, all of those things. We couldn't even use some payment formats again. Say like PayPal.
Okay.
Nigerians could not even use it at some point in time. This was because of some of these. Aside that, there are other reasons that some of these international bodies complained about, some other things, illegalities and all. But then these are some of the issues. But at the end of the day, the goal of this, the good of this was that he wanted to strengthen the naira. And anything that wants to strengthen local currency, I'm up for it. I'm all for it. Do you have something to say about that? Before we just go to the last two policies he brought.
No, I just feel like what he did, like you said, there's always a reason for, and
something, yes.
to be able to strengthen naira is a good push against dollar. It's a very, very good push by the president.
Not just necessarily against dollar.
Against any other currency.
Yeah.
Against them, I'm using dollar because I think that's the major exchange that we Nigerians actually when it comes to business.
This days it's like people are always saying dollar. I'm beginning to wonder, are we now using dollar in Nigeria also? But then moving on, he also the cash redesign policy.
One
very this perhaps was one of the most chaotic transformation that emanated during his time. He redesigned the naira notes, but then the naira note did not circulate fast enough. So all of these things creating cash crunch, cash insecurity, we were cheated. Some of those things, you want to go and get naira, and then they'll tell you want to go and get cash, and then they'll tell you 1,000 naira is for 1,000 naira. I'm just being sarcastic, but that's what happened. If we see it on the broader picture, I don't know, Chitera, did you experience? Who didn't experience it?
I experienced it.
Who didn't experience it? So this was some of the. I don't know if you have something to add to that.
Like you said, that was one of the major outbreak. I won't call it. You know why I call it outbreak? Because it became a problem for everybody, the poor, the rich. But the funny thing is, I saw it from the point of view where that the president was leaving seats at that point and wanted to limit the bribery and corruption during election period during that time.
Yeah, I'm even looking at it from the digital technological angle. The push for this cashless society, that policy, yes.
That was another reason. I'm coming to that. So that was one of the first reasons I think the president did that. And secondly, he wanted to push for that cashless policy where you find out that a petty trader does not have bank accounts. They only use cash. You go to the Malam shop, he does not. But now, please now look at it.
I think people need to go and watch our POS episodes. Yeah.
Thank you. POS has circulated that even the Malam shop, the smallest Malam shop has POS.
I mean, this
because
is
they know
a huge form of livelihood. Millions
so you see
of
that
lives
there was
depends on
also
it now.
advantages to this, and
Very
the advantages were more. But when you bring up a policy, it first eats, and the reason why it will eat is because it's going to bring out the beauty. Now the beauty you're seeing it in Tinubu time, and you don't even know that was
true, beautiful. That's a very beautiful. I mean, you just opened my eyes to. But yeah, that brings us brings me to you, my beautiful viewers. Go and check out POS episode, the rise of POS business on our platform at Idea Television. It's on YouTube. Go and watch it. And then lastly, he brought the e-Naira launch in 2021. Nigeria made history with this, becoming the first African nation to launch a CBDC, the e-Naira. I mean, it's a bold move. It's a bold adoption. It's a bold move, not a bold adoption. Sorry. I don't have to mince my word with this. The adoption was poor. A lot of people do not know about the e-naira. They didn't know that it ever existed. I remember I was speaking to Chidera Offset, and she was telling me that she can't really remember the e-naira things. It's not your fault. It's just because it wasn't adopted, properly. I'm not sure. Do you know about it?
That's what I'm even still.
You're trying to wrap your head around it. So there were technical glitches, low user confidence, pled to it. People did not. There's something with building. There's something with trust, Nigerians. We do not really believe in our system. So it's left for the government to, create that environment where the people believe in its system, the people believe in its leaders. It's very, very important, because when you bring something today, because we have a failing system, so when you bring something today, everybody will just feel like, oh, why will I, want to hop onto that? Are you sure it's going to work? It go last.
Yes.
It no go last. It no go run for a long time. That kind of thing. So, but anywho, it still marked Nigeria's entry into the future forward finance. This, because before that time, Nigeria do not really know about all this digital financing, fintech, all of these things. But I think this launched it for me. So kudos to the president, innovative ideas, digital currencies, so many beautiful things. But at the end of the day, we are looking back to Buhari's tech legacy. It is one of tension, it is one of regulation, and an eventual reform. And it shows the challenge of governing in a digital age, balancing control and freedom, innovation and security, and respectfully, while some decisions rather hurt progress, others planted the seed for transformation. We cited them here. So what's undeniable is that tech became a front row subject in national policy more than ever before. And now, as the nation buries a former president, we pay our last respects. We also reminded that the future of Nigeria's digital economy will be shaped not just by policies, but by consistency. We've talked about it. It will be shaped by sustainability. It will be shaped by continuous dialogue, partnering, and both thinking. So this brings us to the end of the Idea Morning Digest, and I've been with my two lovely hosts, Chidera and Deborah, and I'm Cynthia Bastian. So you will come your way next time. Do not forget to follow us and keep up with us on our YouTube, on our social media platforms at Idea Television.